NewsTalk1010.com. You can read, see, hear.
They have controversial stuff on there, which is interesting to see other people's opinions on things.
It's always important to stay informed on top of the news.
I get off internet. Log on now. Newstalk 1010
study, or I would say not interesting, not revealing at all, but it is worth mentioning as we get set to talk to Dr. Oren Amitay, registered psychologist, about his findings in the world of relationship warfare. Who is withholding sex and why? This is a quick study here revealing the difference in male and female attitudes after sex. Well, they conducted a piece of research here, and guess what they found? I mean, I'll just give you the basic rundown that when it comes to things like kissing and cuddling, while women are still just as interested after the fun part, and men lose interest. I mean, is that really a stunning finding? I don't think so, but we're now joined by Dr. Oren Amitay to talk about just the opposite, I guess, in some of your recent works and some of your recent clinical practices and researches that you find that, contrary to what many believe would be popular belief, men withhold sex in many cases. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
I'm sure you just heard the study I was just talking about, that men lose interest in cuddling and being sweet and intimate after sex. I mean, that's a big duh factor, I think. Stereotypically, you think of guys, and that's what I would think. Well, that's a no-brainer. Now, your sort of findings and your personal experience is an interesting one when you talk about relationship warfare, gaining control, holding all the cards. Withholding sex is a gigantic card.
It is, and but with my couples, I was reflecting on this. I mean, many of the couples I've worked with over the years, when the man withholds sex, which people think is a myth, but when they do, it's usually not deliberate. That's the difference. When I have the male clients come in, it's not as if that's their tactic to get something out of their partner. It's more that they can't acknowledge how much resentment and hostility is just seething underneath, and that's what's influencing their lack of sex drive.
This is going to sound really stupid, but I'll equate it to television. In sort of pop culture television, remember the show Married with Children?
Oh, of course, yeah.
The Al Bundy character was never interested in having sex with his wife, Peg, and I always thought that stuck out to me in terms of, every other sitcom is just the opposite. And I always thought that was weird, but I guess that speaks exactly to what you're talking about.
It is, and if you look at their relationship, I mean, there's a good reason for them not to want to be intimate.
There's loads of resentment there.
Exactly, and what's really interesting is when the clients come in, some of them are able to acknowledge it. Within maybe the same session, they're able to get down to what's really underneath the surface, whereas others, there's no way of getting through. It's like, no, I'm tired at work, and they just so believe their excuses.
Is the opposite true for women? I mean, when people say, "Oh, women withhold sex to gain control of a relationship or get him to do things or whatever," do you see that same sort of attitude based on resentment from the female side?
I see the same attitude, but I think that with the clients I've worked with, the women seem to be, by and large, the women have a bit more insight into what's going on. So if I ask them, could it be something else, not just that you're busy or something, they seem to be able to access that much sooner.
But men are caught more in the denial stages.
Exactly. It's hard to get through to them.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was men traditionally bad at breakups with social technology, texting and emailing growing in fame. I mean, men will typically find the path of least resistance to get out of a relationship. I know that you've been dealing with this quite a bit.
Yes, and here again it goes to people's insights into their behaviors. I've lectured in front of thousands of people. I've asked thousands of people the same question, and it's amazing how so many people have the same answer. The question is, how do men break up with women? One of the most common ways, and it's not so much how they do it, it's why they do it. So one of the most common ways is treat her like garbage.
Really?
Yes, and here's the fascinating part. It's kind of split down the middle, where so many men, they sit there saying, no, there's good motives behind it. And they believe that if I treat her badly, she's going to get sick of me, she'll break up with me, and she's empowered.
Yeah, she's got closure. That's actually not bad. I mean, sick in a way and cowardly, obviously. But I subscribe to the concept that it's not over till it's ugly. And if you do break up with, hey, great intentions, but things aren't going to work out, there's still going to be all these warm feelings that they'll have to deal with. If it gets ugly, you can go, oh, that person's garbage, I'm out of here. And maybe it's a little bit more swift severance deal at the end.
For rationally thinking people, which is what 2% of the population. Because
yeah, that's not me. Yeah.
what normally happens is, and this is the second part of the fascinating thing, when the guy treats a woman badly, guess how she reacts?
I don't know. Sympathetic?
Well, actually, she gets desperate. She starts ramping up the pressure, and she's trying even harder and harder to get him to be with her. So I say to the men, if this is really your tactic, that you're really truly trying to spare her the misery of a breakup, or of feeling that she's worthless, by letting her do the breakup, how does that happen when for 6 months or 5 years you're treating her horribly, and she's doing everything in her power to make you come back to her?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Now, what about women when they want to cut a guy loose? What's the best way to do it, and what's the most common way?
Well, first of all, some women, they say that they do the same tactic, but I think it's much less common, where they treat the guy badly, hoping he'll break up. But they don't have that stereotype going for them that, oh, I have to spare his feelings. So, I'm not saying it's the best way, but the latest way is changing your status on Facebook.
Yeah, no, but I still hear people offended. I still hear conversations all the time. Oh, so-and-so sent her a text message. And I was like, well, be happy you got the text message. Man, he didn't owe you that. I mean, you live in the world of social media. You know this sort of thing happens. Be thankful for the note and move on. I mean, I don't know. If it's a breakup, do you need to have a face-to-face? Especially if it's a bad situation. You don't want to see the person. That's horrible. I don't think it's that bad, personally.
Well, unfortunately, and again, we're talking as if people are rational, and most people are not. So, no matter what the breakup, if you don't have that kind of closure, you feel compelled that you're still trying to, answer questions, figure things out. Maybe I still have a chance. Maybe they're playing a game. So, really, the best way, unless there's, a threat of violence, the best way really is face-to-face, having that discussion. And then I tell people, look, just break it off cold turkey. None of these little excuses. Oh, I forgot that CD cover at your home. I can pick it up. It's really move on, and most people don't. It takes many, many breakups before they finally, have the final, we're done with it moment.
We've been speaking with Dr. Oren Amitay, registered psychologist, and Dr. Amitay, I'm getting married in like a week from now, so you are moving up into like the number 1 or 2 spot on my phone speed dial now. We're going to keep you handy. We're going to keep this thing going in the right direction. Thank you so much for your insights today, and have a great Sunday afternoon.
Thank you, Ben. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It is 8:54, 11 degrees in downtown Toronto. We'll be right back.